You've made it to the last module of the Peasant Futurism's course, 4.4, Narratives of Sufficiency, Circular Economies. According to the United Nations, Western Europeans buy 60% more clothes than a decade ago. In the 15-year stretch between the year 2000 and 2015, production of industrially produced plastic clothing doubled in the world, while their use decreased. In other words, on average, a Western consumer throws away clothes after having only worn them 7 to 8 times. Forget sewing, pasting, patching, or bringing garments to the tailor. Clothes are bought to be thrown away. In Western Europe, following these statistics, each consumer buys an average of 26 kilograms or 57 pounds of clothes per year and throws away 11 kilograms or 24 pounds for a total of 5.8 million tons of textile waste per year. We live in a culture that does not value what it buys. A fast trash culture that is disconnected from its peasant history, rooted in a culture of growing and making, thrift and repair. If this picture of how we relate to garments paints a painful reality, consider the impact of electronic waste on our planetary ecosystems. In 2019, so from when I'm filming this, just 4 years ago, 757 kilograms, that's over 1 billion pounds of e-waste were produced in Canada alone, an average of 20 kilograms or 44 pounds per person. That same year, 891 kilotons of electrical and electronic equipment were put on the market. Between 2015 and 2019, Canada, a country with a population of less than 40 million people, produced 703 kilotons of e-waste. Yet only 4% of that e-waste was formally collected in 2019. Globally, more than 50 million metric tons of e-waste is produced every year, averaging some 7 kilograms of e-waste per person, per capita, of which only 17.4% are recycled. Wow, that's a lot of numbers. And these numbers are absolutely mind-blowing. 50 million metric tons of e-waste. But that's an increase of 21% e-waste in 5 years. So it's not like we're getting better, things are getting worse. And it's unsurprising when you consider the obsolescence cycle of most phones and laptops, which are made to be on average 2 years. So you buy your phone and you replace it in 2 years, and we consider this to be normal. In China, if China and the United States disproportionately produce more e-waste than other countries, the problem of e-waste affects everyone when you consider the planetary implications of the ecological and climatic crisis. Climate has no borders. Poorer countries, which are least responsible for the problem, are most affected, an effect and a symptom of environmental racism. A peasant at heart, I have always been concerned about the impact of what I purchase on the planet. That's why I held onto my last cell phone, an LG G3, for 7 years, and my laptop, a heavy and very bulky Dell, for about 8. The cost to repair and update these machines was always greater than buying a new one. But I nevertheless held onto them until they became completely unusable. And you can check out the text version of this video for an illustrated image of a typical cell phone's life cycle, as well as other graphs that you might find interesting. From raw material extraction to transportation to manufacturing to packaging, a great deal of pollution and toxic waste is produced along the way to us getting that cell phone. Many of the workers in the production chain are exploited, working in nearby and distant countries in conditions that should make us think twice about buying instead of repairing. If so much eco-social damage is caused, why do we accept life cycles that last only a few years? Throwing away items we barely use means incineration and landfills or worse, all of which have harmful consequences. Repairing, reusing, and Recycling to remanufacture seems not only logical, but should be made mandatory. Hence the need to move away from linear economies that go from extraction to the landfill and practice what is called circular economies. A circular economy transforms goods that are at their end that are at the end of their life cycle into resources for others, closing loops in industrial production systems while minimizing waste. The 4 R's of circular economies are reuse, recycle, repair, and remanufacture. Reuse as much as possible. Recycle what you cannot reuse and repair what is broken and can be usefully repaired. And remanufacture that which cannot be repaired. Today, our take, make, waste economy consumes 100 billion tons of materials a year and wastes over 90% of it. Only 8.6% are circulated back into local economies. We can do better. We must do better. Peasants are masters of thrift, always reusing, repairing, and remanufacturing. A circular economy is possible at the eco-city and eco-regional levels if systems are put in place to reprocess goods and materials, generating local and regional jobs and saving energy while reducing resource consumption and waste. Taken a step further, circular economies can also include what is called performance economies, wherein the manufacturer retains ownership of the product and its embodied resources and is therefore responsible for the risks and its waste. Imagine if the company that made your phone was responsible for remanufacturing it or repairing it at their cost. I'm certain they would make better quality items that don't expire as quickly, aren't you? What, what a pleasant future that would be if instead of turning our planet into a toxic dump, we treated it with the kind of care and responsibility our peasant ancestors were known for. Circular performance economies promise to create the conditions of possibility for that kind of future. For the next 100 years, let's plant the seeds of pleasant futures by dismantling a global economy of extraction, exploitation, and extinction, and demand radical economic and industrial degrowth. A period of rest, not only for violated ecological milieus across our damaged planet, but for exhausted human and non-human bodies that have been displaced, disciplined, silenced, imprisoned, overworked, and worked to death and killed. Let the masters' houses, plantations, and resorts go to ruin. Let's turn down the heat to a bare minimum on our mines and factories. In the ashes of industrial modernity and its mythologies of progress, we are busy bees, pollinating peasant futures, pleasant futures, buzzing with the sugar high of our life-giving labors. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my ideas. I hope you enjoyed the modules and the resources in this course and that the assignments have been insightful and provocative. And I'll see you at the community garden.